Disney Star Wars is a mess. Did a video the other day, go check it out, talking about how nobody wants Hasbro toys anymore. And the company is laying off 20% of its workforce because people aren't buying Star Wars or Marvel toys or any of these other brands that have gone through big changes recently, filled with all kinds of messaging and changes. Or the fact that some of these franchises just aren't that well thought out anymore. The Disney sequel trilogy is a great example of that. Great example of just making slop to make it. I'll never understand why they didn't go with the outline that George Lucas himself gave them. It was stupid to not use that, and they're paying for it. They'll never stop paying for it because of the fact that nobody's going to give a shit about the sequel trilogy in 10 or 15 years. No one's going to care about it. I would argue that it's so bad that it's hurt the original 6 movies that predate the Disney deal. Those movies are probably damaged because of how badly Star Wars has been handled. I would say that you're not going to see an influx of new people as older fans die out, which is what these franchises need. You're not going to see those new people come in as much. And that's a death blow for something like Star Wars. Daisy Ridley has confirmed something like this, and now Adam Driver confirms that they never had a plan for these sequel movies. They just threw them out as however they wanted. That was never part of it. Adam Driver confirms Kylo Ren's redemption was never part of the sequel trilogy plan. Adam Driver has confirmed that Kylo Ren's redemption arc, as featured in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, was never an original part of the plan. They just made this shit up as they went on. So it's nice to see somebody come out and confirm it once again. Adam Driver confirms that Kylo Ren's redemption in The Rise of Skywalker was not part of the original plan for the character's arc. Kylo Ren was initially envisioned as becoming the strongest Sith version of himself, but the creators chose to focus on his redemption and the dyad with Rey instead. These story changes made to the sequel trilogy, particularly in The Rise of Skywalker, highlight the potential damage that late-term changes can have on the overall narrative. Why did they change that? You know why they changed that, right? And that would have been a cool idea to just have him become an amazing Sith by the end. Oh, he doesn't redeem himself. He just becomes the most powerful Sith ever. That could have been kind of cool. But instead, they walked all that back and redeemed him. You know why they did that? Because of the shippers. Why do you think Kylo and Rey kiss at the end of Rise of Skywalker? Because of the shippers. That's the audience that Kathleen Kennedy really wants, by the way, are those delusional weirdos that ship everything. That's the audience that Marvel wants, too. So this is where this all comes from. Adam Driver Archive posted this. This is from the Rich Eisen show. I've never heard of this program, but this is where it's from. And he interviews him and talks to him. Let's listen to some of it, because I think that it's interesting when you can point out that these companies dropped the ball as bad as they did. Take a listen.
But did you know that at least you're playing Vader 2.0? Like, at least did you know that as conceptually?
I did. Yeah. And I had an overall arc that in mind that he wanted to do, which, then changed. But his idea was that almost the opposite journey of Vader, where Vader starts the most confident, the most committed to the dark side, and by the last movie he's the most vulnerable and weak, and he wanted to start at the opposite, where this character was the most confused and vulnerable, and by the end of the 3 movies would be most committed to the dark side. So I tried to keep that arc in mind, regardless if that wound up not being the journey anyway.
So, confirmed from Kylo Ren himself. I'm telling you, they didn't commit to that because they knew he was the most interesting thing going on in those movies, and the shippers wanted him, and they wanted him to be with Rey, so they made that happen. in a desperate bid to please everybody. Because that's what Rise of Skywalker was. Rise of Skywalker was a desperate bid to please everybody. The Last Jedi fans, the people that hated Last Jedi, the shippers, the weirdos, the normies. They tried to please everybody with that movie, and instead they made the most biggest piece of shit ever. I would say Rise of Skywalker is worse than Last Jedi, and I hate The Last Jedi. That movie is worse because of the way that they tried to damage control it. And because of that, I mean, that's the trilogy. But going with this unplanned, making shit up as we go trilogy that they did, they really did drop the ball. And the biggest complaint, and I think it's a fair one, is that they'll never be able to get that older Luke, Han, Leia, Chewie, Lando, C-3PO, R2-D2 shot in the Millennium Falcon with everybody older but back together, reunited. They'll never be able to get that again. The only way you can ever see that is with Photoshop. And that's on them. That's on them for never making something like that happen. Disney is a stupid company.
It's because it changed, obviously, as we were shooting.
Yeah, right.
Right, but I was still kind of focused on that.
When did it change?
Well, with Ryan, he took it into a different direction, but still it kind of still tracked with the character. Then the last one, it changed into being, about them and the dyad and things like that.
And then, again,
because of the shippers. But it was confirmed there also that it went in a different direction when Rian Johnson came on. So Abrams kind of had this plan, what he thought they should do with the characters. Obviously, Rian Johnson took it a completely different direction with it. And then Abrams came back and tried to piece together something to end it all on. It was a disaster from start to ending.
And kind of evolving into Ben Solo.
Right.
That was never part of it.
That wasn't either?
No.
Because
Ben Solo, he was Ben Solo from the beginning, but it was never a version where we actually see Ben Solo.
There you go. I think this is wild, and it's funny to see it come out now. Like, I don't think he's ever coming back to Star Wars, so he really doesn't care. I don't think he ever wants to come back, and I don't blame him. I wouldn't come back either. He's got a career that's taken off now. He's going to be in that Ferrari movie, and he's been in other stuff. He'll kind of be like, I think he'll end up kind of being like Harrison Ford, where he's almost going to kind of resent Star Wars. Daisy Ridley, though, she's coming back for the Rey movie. Yay. We get to see Rey Palpatine rebuild the Jedi Order. Oh, wait. That's what we wanted to see Luke do. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and Locals, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.